Good morning. Hard to believe that Vlogust is already almost over. Just chilling here in the den. It's morning. Got to go to work in a little bit, but just chilling in the den with Marley. What you doing, baby? Being a precious girl? She cries in the morning if I'm not with her, so I gotta do my things really quickly, get everything together, and then find a place to plop down so we can chill for a bit. So anyway, just eating some breakfast. Well, that's coming up in a minute here. Just gonna have a couple of waffles. Oh, easy. Gonna have a couple of waffles, and Nature's Path makes a vegan home-style waffle. It's also gluten-free if you're into that. And so just gonna eat that, and a couple of pieces of vegan bacon from Eve's Cuisine. I think they're exclusively in Canada right now. Maybe they're in some of the northern states, but so I'm gonna do that, and just having some coffee, and then off to work. And I have no idea what's gonna happen today, but we're nearing the end, guys. Vlogust is almost over. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So back with another video today. I was gonna head out for a run. It's raining. Just got off work a little while ago, and it clouded over and got pretty dark pretty quickly. So now it's raining. I'm gonna have to wait on that. So I figured, well, you know what? Instead of doing what I planned to do, which is kind of a vlog style run chat sort of thing, we'll just talk about something else that was on my mind. So if you've watched my vlogs from the last couple of days, you'll see that there's a little book exchange kind of thing, little book box in the town where I work. And I've been checking that the last couple of mornings, and I was able to find one about animals. So I brought that into work. I just wanted to update you guys on how effective that was after just one day. So I was sitting in the lunchroom today, and I brought the book in yesterday. So I was sitting in the lunchroom today after my walk at lunch, and I was heating up my burrito, and one of the women that I work with came out, and she, just making small talk or whatever. I think she was grabbing some water or something, happened to look on the table next to me and saw this book, and she was just intrigued by it right away. She's like, "Oh my God, this is awesome. Who brought this in?" And I was like, "Oh, I brought that in yesterday." And I explained about the box and stuff like that. And she's like, "Oh wow, this looks like a really interesting read. I'm gonna have to read this." So anyway, right away there's somebody who is going to read that book tomorrow. She said she's going to read that while she's eating her lunch. And right away there's just something as simple as bringing in a book that talks about how intelligent animals are and different stories about intelligent animals and stuff like that. That's just going to get people thinking right away. So within 24 hours, there's a person who does have a good heart, who's going to read this book and is going to be like, "Oh shit, like pigs and chickens and all these other animals, you mean they're just as smart as dogs and cats?" It doesn't mean she's going to go vegan, but it does mean that a seed has been planted. So that's my main focus at every opportunity. I want to plant a seed. There's people that I know are probably never going to go vegan, but then again, I never thought I was ever going to go vegan, so I'm just going to keep planting those seeds, and when the opportunity comes up to talk about it, I will. Otherwise, they're going to get a daily dose of subliminal messaging. Like, it's funny, I'm wearing a Sublime shirt, but they're going to get that subliminal messaging from me constantly. And I'm going to do everything in my power to get people thinking about animals. So it is effective. Talked a couple days ago about somebody that I'm friends with. She had, made a Facebook post about dairy, veal, how disgusting that was, and I don't think that person's necessarily going to go vegan, but obviously that was as a result of just seeing posts and being part of conversations and stuff, being exposed to the information. I had another person just a day later, so I think that was yesterday, last evening, send me a private message, and was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, well, I was like kind of trying to read and figure out and doing some research, and I really can't find any ethical reason or ethical justification for eating meat. And I was thinking about our little mini conversation we had the other day. And it's like, well, yeah. So I went back with, well, it's like this, there's obviously no need to harm animals for food or whatever for any other reason. So like, since it's entirely unnecessary, and like I certainly don't feel like I want to die, like, so I can't justify inflicting that on somebody else, especially if it's completely unnecessary. So that's what it really comes down to. And so there's another person who just, it's hitting home. And I think what's happening is now that things are going more mainstream, Jamie and I were just talking about the Beyond Burger and how they partnered with A&W, and now A&W's basically sold out across Canada. The Beyond Meat is like tripling production. And so we see all of these things just going more mainstream, more fast food places and everything else, just talking about it and getting it out there, normalizing it. And not necessarily even normalizing veganism as a stance and as an ethical way of life, but just the food aspect of it, which, let's face it, is so personal and is what most people are going to have as like a reason to like kind of question things like, oh my God, like I'm going to have to change my entire diet or something. Like, I know it's selfish and I know it's the human ego at play, but that's the reality of it. Most humans are going to think the hardest part's going to be the food, right? So now that stuff's just in the mainstream and everybody's talking about it and it's everywhere, some of these old conversations that have happened over the years, some of these old seeds that have been planted are now starting to sprout, and people are starting to realize, like, oh, wait a second, this is real, this is happening. Like, I no longer can justify this. I could pretend while this was still kind of a fringe thing, and I was going to be a huge minority if I partook in it, if I was going to partake in that. But you can't use that as a justification now either. Like, you can no longer say, oh, well, I don't want to be like just this weird small minority, like, because that's just not the case anymore. Yeah, sure, we're still a vast minority, but it's like an extremely fast growing way of life and philosophy and stance and just everything. Like, more and more people are going plant-based for all kinds of reasons. More and more people are stepping up and understanding the ethics and actually going vegan. And like, it's just happening at such a pace that it can't be denied anymore. And so now people know, instead of just that one vegan that they knew from a couple years ago or whatever, now they know like 3 or 4 other people who have gone vegan, or at least have started eating a plant-based diet, and they're doing okay. So it's just constantly like more and more reinforcement and positive kind of steps to just solidify that position that everything will be fine, right? Like, you don't need to worry about it. There is absolutely nothing to worry about when going vegan or when going plant-based. The only thing that you may find is that you're going to obviously be, you're going to see some information, and it might be a little bit upsetting to you. But you know what? That's part of growth. That's part of evolving as a human. That's part of just processing information. And yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable to like know some of the things and how the industry works and feel like you've been duped your whole life. But I'd rather know and then be able to make my own decision about it than just stay in the dark, So it's happening. It really is happening, guys, and it's happening fast. And so I know I've kind of touched on this stuff all before and over the last couple days and stuff, but I just wanted to really just reinforce it again. It's nice to see so many people just stepping up. Oh, I wanted to mention this person who recently messaged me and said, hey, like, I can't find any ethical reason to eat meat anymore, and, shit, man, I'm just whatever, right? This is a person who had actually unfriended me from Facebook a couple of years ago because we got in some discussions, and maybe my approach wasn't really all the greatest back then. I was maybe a little bit more confrontational than I should have been, as opposed to just supplying, information. But, it doesn't matter. They were where they were. I was where I was. The point is, we're here and now. That person had previously deleted me off their Facebook. This was a longtime friend, someone that I'd known and worked with. And then they came back, and then obviously those seeds have been sprouting for some time now. And you know, this is a guy that like works out, you know, pretty good shape and stuff like that. So obviously, there's a lot of masculinity issues with a lot of guys. You know, we think, oh well, like, are we gonna be, you know, is it somehow like less manly? Is it somehow like a feminine thing, you know, to go vegan? Like, oh, not eating meat, and that's all part of that bullshit conditioning that we've, you know, experienced the entire life, you know, is growing up, oh, you need meat to be big and strong, and it's manly to eat steak and beer, and like, it's all bullshit. It's all complete and utter bullshit nonsense that's just to appeal to people's ego and to try to create something that isn't real, so that you try to live by that standard and you continue to, you know, to purchase those products at the animal's expense. So, yeah, I don't know. That's about it. I see we're already at almost 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop here. I could rant about this all day long. I'm just excited to see that people are paying attention. People are waking up. People who, you know, I would think maybe we're on the opposite end of the spectrum of where I am, are starting to like really be able to meet me halfway, have some good conversations. And I've talked about it before too, like we can still remain unapologetic. It doesn't mean we have to be like really passive and like meek and apologetic to people. But we can still be kind, and we can still have conversations. And then, hey, if there's times that you got to drop the bomb, drop the bomb, right? There's definitely cases for that. So I guess that's it. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any success stories, please let me know down below. I'd love to hear about that. Any thoughts on anything that I've touched upon in this video or recent videos, let me know down below. Let's have a conversation about it. Vlogust is almost over, and I know some of these videos haven't really been vlogs, but you know, it's hard at work and stuff like that. Can't really just pull my camera out in the middle of the office and start talking. I just can't do that. That's just not a possibility. So otherwise I probably would, because I don't really care. But yeah, okay. Subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff. Tap the bell so you get notified when I upload tomorrow's video. And until the next time, guys, peace.